We go live and we
live.
multiply. What up?
What is
family?
going on, my people?
Man,
Welcome.
glad to be here today, man.
Dude, it is crazy. It is crazy. Despite all the things that's going on in the world, life be life, and I know it's life be life for everybody.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But you know what? We got to keep on pushing on those things. How's everything on your end, Gmo? Talk to me.
Man, we it's better. It's better. It's for those we live on IG, by the way, but for those that tuned in last week, we had to miss it because the wifey got in a car accident. Long story short, she's good. We may be able to have her come up, maybe, because she was actually hit by a cop, so that's different. But we're gonna talk more about that later. But everybody's good. It was scary as hell, man. I was out of it mentally for a minute. But I'm back now. So I missed y'all, man. I'm glad to be here for real, for real. I gave
glad to be
a hell of a hug today when I saw her.
Hey.
I missed y'all. Sure. How you doing, brother Corey?
Man, so check it out. I'm good. I'm good. Just, being grateful. Just I like to say this, man. You know what I'm saying? You know me, I'm a God-fearing man. So I like to say God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. And I just want to be grateful that I'm in the moment of life. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Bobby, talk to us. Tell us about your day. Tell us about
you doing, Bobby.
Oh man. It was good. I woke up and I made it to work halfway on time. Didn't get hit by anybody. Almost.
See, man, it's bad out here. When she told me that today.
Yeah,
I did a little networking while I was in the office and started talking with one of the ladies who doesn't normally sit down next to me. She normally sits upstairs, and she and I just get to talking, and I start talking to her about technically speaking, and she says, "Show me where it's at so I can subscribe. I want to listen to you." So just a little networking.
Hey, throw some horns on that, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw some horns on that.
Hell yeah. So speaking of which, anyone that's joining us or watching this on YouTube, don't be afraid to click that subscribe button. Join
and like it as well.
And like,
you know what? What is caring?
Sharing.
So why don't you go ahead and share it as well? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing to it but to do it like water and fluid, baby. So let's get it.
Hey, let's get it. So we are live for episode 20.
Woo! We almost adult. We almost time to drink. Right? We about to go have an alcohol in one more episode. Episode 20.
Hey, man,
yeah.
The show is old enough to go steal a drink from someone at the club, baby. Let's
go.
Ooh, let's not use steal because we know the feds are watching.
Oh yeah,
and speaking of the feds is watching. Oh
Before
my God!
What we about to do, Bobby? What we about to give them?
What are we about to give them?
What do we normally give them?
Let's do a little giveaway.
Nah.
We do give away. What do we give away?
It's coming up. Y'all be prepared. There's gonna be some technically speaking giveaways.
Do we not give them news
that you can use?
There you go. There you go. Come on now.
Every day, be positive.
The feds are watching. You said the feds
is watching. The feds is watching. Just like they did your boy Diddy. Diddy has been caught up in a RICO case. Oh my God. Now we already knew about the no Diddy. Everybody say no Diddy because of the fact that we seen the things that was going. You know what? I don't feel sorry for him, but I do feel sorry for the victims.
Oh yeah.
I feel sorry for not just the victims.
Yeah. They're not even words, and I think we'll never know the actual true amount of people that his bad decisions probably affected,
True. And here's the thing. It went all before, like when it first came out saying before the police and the racketeering and even before the Cassie video, I was like, you know what? This man is a flawed man. And, God forgive him. However, and I ain't trying to stand in the pulpit, but the Bible do says for the wages of sin is death. And if you think you too big, you bigger than God, then you need to back that train on up and stop at that last exit, homie.
Take him down a few pegs.
You know what I'm saying? You got a record. So
go ahead.
For those who don't know, there's a RICO charge attached to the case. You know what I'm saying? With all that baby oil, woo! Let me go ahead and change that. Let me get back to this.
My
So
husband told me about that last night. I was like, "What? Are you serious?"
it,
He's like, "Yeah."
it ain't cool if you can't lube.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yo.
Take that, take that. No, let me stop. Okay, I'm done. I'm really done. So there's
Let me write that
racketeering.
down real quick.
So
Bad
there's
boy.
racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen a couple artists in the industry, right? One
Hmm.
of them, I'm not gonna say his name, but he said that that's what a lot of people already do, not as far as racketeering or the sex trafficking,
Flying them out.
but transportation to engage in prostitution. So
Mm-hmm.
when you hear the phrase "flying them out,"
Yeah, yeah. I got flued out.
so who catches the charge? The
Dude,
flyer or the payer?
that's a good question, man. Because I know who you're talking about. Because the person who said that actually just had a warrant issue for his arrest here in Texas. So I know who you're
Well,
talking about.
yeah,
Uh,
because the
pay your
feds are
limo
watching.
drivers, people. Pay your limo drivers.
Pay
Damn.
your yeah. And girls, stop talking about it, cause y'all getting real crass on the IGs and the
Yeah.
reels. Oh, my man flew me out. My
He flew me out. He flew me.
my
I got
man flew
flued out.
me out.
I got flued out. You can go to
And now,
jail for fluing somebody out. You fly
you know what
somebody
I'm
out, you
saying?
go to jail.
But
That's
here's the thing. Here is the bad part about all of that.
what is it? It's not the bad boy. That wasn't the bad part. No.
Nah, bad boy. Come out and play. Nah, let me stop.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
not we not about to get a strike. So, but
Yeah.
no, for but for real.
Corey,
Um.
chill, Corey.
So here's no this. Follow me now. Follow me now, because I'm going
Okay,
somewhere.
okay,
I'm
okay.
going
All
somewhere,
right, go
and you know what I'm
somewhere with
saying.
this.
It's a destination at the end. So I saw the interview that Shine was saying. Now you know Shine did time behind a 1999 New Year's
Remember
Eve
that? Yeah.
party.
Yup.
And he came out in the interview saying that that wasn't him. That was all this man was doing. And
I
he was
remember
like,
that.
he had control over the entourage. So the entourage was saying, blame it on him. And that man lost 12 years of his life because he was
Mhm.
in prison. And the
Was it?
bad part about it, that
Yeah, that's crazy.
it's like, you didn't take care of, I mean, you took the fall. You knew he took the fall for you, but you didn't
Mhm.
take care of his people.
Nah,
So, yeah, man. And then
that was real. And
so
you know what was crazy about that too? Like Shine was just starting to blow up. Like that, yeah.
Dibbity bop, dibbity bop, dibbity bop, dibbity bop, dibbity oh. Yeah. But here's the thing. I saw another interview that wasn't tied to it, but then I did see a tie into it. 50
Oh,
Cent
okay,
was on Earn
okay.
Your Leisure. 50 Cent was on Earn Your Leisure's Invest Fest, and it's on YouTube right now. Shout out
I
to
didn't watch the
Earn
whole
Your
video. I
Leisure.
saw the clip on IG.
Well, no, I saw the whole video. And so
I gotta watch it.
50 Cent was talking about how some of these deals that these alcohol beverage people have, and when they get like people like ambassadors like Sean Diddy Combs, 50
Mhm.
Cent, Nelly, whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 50 said it's cool when they work with you. So you making 60 million a year, right?
He's making 60 mil a year.
60 million a
What would
year.
you do with that, Bobby? I know what you're gonna say, but just answer the question.
But before you answer that,
Well, okay, go ahead.
so this is what happened. 50 said it's cool when you want to when they work for you, but when you
Mm-hmm.
try to become an owner, it's a whole
Mm.
different playground, because of why? Then you have to make decisions, and people know you for your influence. That's one of the reasons why these
Yeah.
non-name brand
Mhm.
came to you. Because before Diddy, have you heard of Ciroc?
Never, ever,
Before Diddy,
never.
have you heard of De Leon?
Nope.
No, right? So getting attached to these brands can make you somewhat a powerful person. However, the owner of De Leon and the owner of Ciroc are powerful people.
Mm.
I bet they
And
are.
if you, yeah, and so they may have a judge in the pocket.
Could be a
They
setup.
may have, they may have supreme lawyers, right? And they
Mhm.
may reach out to your entourage who probably seen you get done wrong, and they say, "Oh, let me go. Let me call. Let's just say this. This is hypothetically speaking. Judge A, B, and C. Yeah, you know that party that you had over at my ranch over in the Hamptons? Oh yeah, yeah, no worries, it's fine. Just whatever this Mr. Hairbrush, because I'm not gonna call his name, it's because I'm trying to tie these things together. But you know the opposite of a hairbrush is a what? Yeah, that's it. We not gonna don't accept anything. You can't put his house, his mama house, his grandmama house, his sister's passport, your passport, and no matter how much, keep him in there till he learn that he's not powerful, more
Ooh,
powerful than the plan.
you put him in his place.
Put him in the place.
Put him in his
And see,
place.
and Diddy seem oops. But yeah, Diddy seems like the type of person who will, if you give him a rope, he gonna take all the yard. The
Mm.
man's gonna take the yard and the roller because we've seen him do it in hip hop culture.
Dancing all in the videos.
All in the videos. But I say that to say this. What is y'all take on it? How do y'all feel about powerful players that can control the narratives of somebody's life?
Hey, Bobby, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think
Let's talk
obviously
about it.
having large amounts of money is a game changer, and unfortunately, there are very evil men and evil women. It's kind of taking it back to my foundation of faith is like everybody's life is built around sin, and unfortunately, money is supposed to be a tool. Now you can use it in a
Yeah.
very in a good way to help advance people who are around you to make life-changing decisions for you and your family for generations to come, or you can do worse things, which is in this case, if you have that type of money, you can pay the right person to turn their head the other way and they will absolutely do it,
Yep.
letting you get away with years of tyrannical decision making that hurt people. It hurts people, so
Yeah.
that's what it is. And I'm never I'll never stand for something like that, unfortunately. Not
Yeah.
unfortunately, but it's unfortunate for the victims. I don't feel
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
person committing
And the
committing that
and the
crime.
families involved all
Yeah.
around
That too.
because
Yeah, that trauma spreads, man. That
yeah.
trauma, because if it's true, right? Because I mean, I don't know until they go to court. I mean, it's all hearsay till they come
Mm.
to their decision, right? But there's been
Nah,
other
as in
people
50 Cent would say, he did that ish. He did that
if
ish.
he did it, man,
Y'all,
it's
I gotta
Well,
say
did
though,
he?
since
Did
this
he?
Diddy stuff came out, oh my gosh, y'all, some of these memes that were coming out, y'all, I watched a reel
Man.
right before I got on here, and it was this one girl, this real pretty black girl with braids, and she was like, "Come on, don't be scared, just do it. Say baby oil in the mirror 3 times," and she's like, "It ain't nothing." Oh my gosh, y'all, this video,
And then a Diddy thing
and
popped up like this.
then it
yeah,
popped up,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Shout
There's
out to the meme
Hey, the
maker.
memes,
Oh
hey,
my gosh,
the internet is undefeated, dog. The
oh my
internet is
Yeah.
gosh.
undefeated. There's another one where it
I get
shows
so
him.
sucked into some of these. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I just get sucked
yeah.
into some of these. I gotta be careful.
There's one
Yeah.
that it shows him in prison and it says, "Oh, you trapped with us," and he's like, "Nah, Playboy, you trapped in here with me."
Hey, that's dark.
I'm saying.
That's dark.
But
Nah,
you
man,
know,
but it's sad, man. Because it, to what you were saying, right? Money is just a tool, man, and like it's like alcohol. It only enhances who you truly are, right?
yeah.
Like, because when people say they changed, no, you just got a chance to see who they really are, right?
Yeah.
When you got that money, so I mean, and there's been stories, right, that you've heard that he may have been like that, right? Just from way back when.
Hey
And all
man. Hey.
and you in the music industry, so I can only imagine what you've heard.
Hey,
I
I
just
look.
gotta confirm you ain't never been in no Diddy parties.
No Diddy party. I haven't moved that high up in the ranks in that industry, and I don't think I'm going to go there
Yo, I
because
just saw a clip from Ice Cube at one of his concerts, and he was like, "I'm gonna let you know right now, you will never see no clips of me and Dub C at any of them Diddy parties because we ain't never
nah.
been." But he was saying, for anybody that's been to a Diddy party, I got one thing to tell you: you better check yourself. That was
Hey,
right
check
until he went to
yourself
the
for you wreck
yup,
yourself.
yup. Yup.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But yeah, it's sad though, man. Go ahead.
It's sad. And then even for these people who get flew out, right? Oh Lord
Flued
Jesus,
out.
Lord Jesus.
You getting flued out.
It's like,
That's the question for my people on Instagram. What's up, Dr. Poole? Have you ever flued out someone?
have you ever flew out?
Or have you ever
You know,
gotten flued out? It can go both ways. Shoot, girl.
yeah,
Women
you
be
know what I'm
trying
saying?
to
So
flude out too.
There's some rich women
earlier
out
y'all
there
kind of
that's
brought up a
go ahead.
subject about should the person who gets flown out or the person who flies them out should be the ones who get criminal charges. Um, I was thinking about that and I was like, there's it's not black and white. There's going to be some gray areas in the middle because some of these women, they're either coerced, duped into believing something, they're shown a little bit of extravagance and they ride on those coattails, but because the um let's assume it's a man to woman ratio
Mhm.
because obviously most prostitutes are women, so they get,
Not in Diddy's case.
I said most, but most, we know there's a few men in there. Okay. Anyways, let's say these women are vulnerable. They're hurting. They have trauma, and the person who's flying them out knows this, and they can
Yeah,
feed off of that.
Yeah,
And so they're gonna
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
"Oh, this person's an easy target. I know a little bit about their background. They'll do it. They'll do it." And I feel like that's what happened with like the Epstein stuff. Those girls that got flown out there, they had trauma. They were young, but they were
Oh
coerced
yeah.
because they were shown a little bit of extravagance. They were shown a
Mhm.
glimpse into a life that, without Ghislaine Maxwell or without Jeffrey Epstein, they might have never experienced. And so because of that, they got to meet A-list celebrities, people in power.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna build on that because
Uh-huh.
and Dr. Poole asked what was getting flued out, getting flown out, right?
Flown out.
That's the slang you
Flown
hear, like
to
the
What's up,
young
Dr. Poole?
that I got flued out. That means someone flew me out. To some when tings get flown out somewhere because they gonna do
yeah.
some things, okay?
We're gonna
But
have some some entanglements.
some entanglements, basically. Alopecia. That's a whole different.
That's all. Next, that's a new saying. That's a new show. That's another show.
Wait a minute. I was trying to be serious. Hold on.
We can't, man. We're barely 17 minutes into this episode, and y'all too had to make up for
Oh,
last week.
This is gonna be a meme. Look, this is gonna be. I need whoever in the background make sure they cut that video like this. While you talking, I'm doing
oh
this.
man. What I was gonna say, man, about like the women that go through things, right?
Mhm.
My first tour to Korea, I actually DJ'd at a bar on the side, right?
Oh,
And there were girls working there, right, in that environment, in that situation, right? Um, and like I got to know these girls, right, and I got to know their stories, and like even though they were in that scenario, that situation, right, they were pretty much duped, tricked, right, and then once they get there, they take the girls' passports and stuff, and they're stuck,
Oh,
right? They got to work it
mhm.
off. For those that don't know, that it happens.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember I was talking to this one girl, and she was like, "Yeah, it sucks, but and she was telling me she had to share a bed with like two other girls, right? And she was like, but I get to have running water for the first time because she came from a country they didn't have running water, so it was
oh wow.
like it's to your point, the predators choose their prey wisely, right? Where the management company that recruited her, right? They knew that.
Yeah.
They knew where she was coming from, knew she didn't have nothing, right?
Right.
Hey, you get this running water, you get to have food every day. So it's like I had certain ways that I thought about it until I got to learn their stories, right? I'm like, damn, what do you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
do I stay here and avoid that? And I got to figure out how to get my water, you know what I mean? And figure out how
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my next meal, or we talk about hustling, sometimes you just hustle to survive, and I think some people kind of get tricked into it, and then once they're into it, because there's been girls that have been on multiple contracts, and you're like, dude, why are you still here? Well,
Yeah.
I went home and I couldn't make no money. There's no money back in her home country, so she came back. You know what I mean?
Came
Like
back. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a vicious loop, man. A
Yeah.
Yeah.
vicious loop.
Um.
It's unfortunate.
The bad. the bad thing about it is we never when we hear stories like this, we never really think about the ones who want to escape but don't. We only
Yeah,
think about we
yeah,
only think about the ones that got caught or captured or the ones that's missing.
yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, good point.
that's a good way to look at some of these things. Maybe we should do a topic about it because sex trafficking has been going on since forever.
Yeah,
And
that's just that's just modern day slavery is all that is.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
yeah,
women, unfortunately, are a slave to the people who, know that they're vulnerable and in that position, and so of course they take advantage of it. And just like you said, they can't go back to their other country because it's either
yeah,
get
go
fed
back
and
to
you
it.
have a restroom with running water, or you can go back to living in the dirt hut somewhere.
Yeah,
yeah. And
and the
that's
And so you
options.
kind of yeah, like you're picking your poison at this point.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
real.
right.
Which one is the lesser evil is what it comes down
it's a
to.
lesser evil. Hmm.
And that's
Well, look,
subjective to that person because I don't have that person's experience.
Yeah.
As tough as I've had it here in the US, right?
Mhm.
I've always had running water. Even when we was on food stamps, you know what I mean? Welfare, we had running water. So I'm like, I
Our
can't.
poorness is still rich to somebody on the other
Yeah,
side of the
yeah,
world. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
yeah, no, for
First
real.
world
Looking at it
problem
from an
is what we
American
call it.
perspective,
Yeah,
you know,
for real.
it's,
What were you gonna
it's,
say,
it's
Corey?
entirely different.
Um, what I was going to say was because we talked a lot. We talked a lot about this, and I was thinking like, you know what would be the best time that since we brought up food, we brought up flights, and we brought up feed, right? And I don't want. I'm trying to switch it to a lighter note, okay? I think so. Work with your boy, okay? Because this, when I read it, it was hilarious. But I know damn well if I'm on a flight and a mouse jump out of my dinner plate, somebody beside the pilot is
Oh, hell
dying.
nah.
Okay,
Hell nah.
Oh,
check it out. Mice on the plane, not snakes. Lord, thank you, Jesus. Not snakes, but mice are on the plane.
Mice.
Okay, so from Norway's capital, Oslo was forced to make an emergency landing after a passenger discovered a live mice
Ugh.
and a live mouse in her in-flight meal. Talk about protein. You know what I'm saying?
That's not the protein I want.
That
Ugh.
ain't the protein. You got extra. Like, can I get a
salmonella and
lunch?
bacteria. Ugh.
I'm like, that is nasty. However, let's just be 100% honest. When you go on these flights, do you guys? Because I've yet to fly in first class. You know what I'm saying? There's one day I will. One day I will. And if they bring me something that looks really good, but it turns out to be a mice, I want my money back. I want my
Ooh.
dividends back in.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
do y'all eat on the planes? Question, talk to me. Do you
Ah,
eat
you
on the
know what?
planes?
I used to. I mean, up until this article, I'm like, now I don't think I want to. I mean, I normally do until this
Right.
article came up. What
Because they
about
only
you,
got
Bobby?
like 20 minutes to clean the planes before they start
Yeah.
boarding other people back in.
So I think like the whole mouse on the plate thing. I think, in my opinion, that might have been for an international flight because I've never been on a flight anywhere here around the United States where they offered a meal. You were
Yeah,
lucky
Norway.
to get a little pack of crackers or some little biscotti cookies and 20% of a Coke. You know what I mean? But not a whole
Well, no,
meal.
I know in first class when I went to Canada and I think I flew United or American.
Uh-huh.
Those who were on first class, they was like your in-flight meal were options. They had
Mhm.
turkey, they had snake. I was like,
Did you say
uh,
snake, sir? Snake?
yeah, steak.
Oh,
No,
wow.
steak, not snake.
No,
I was about to say,
I
Steak,
I
I,
heard
steak on the
snake.
plane.
well, they
I
do
heard
have snakes
snake, and
on
I
the
was
plane.
like, "They're serving snake on a plane now?"
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My bad. Nah, oh Lord, no, no. Let me tell you
Oh,
something.
but that was an international flight because
Yeah,
you flew from
I flew
probably
from
from
LAX
California
to
US to Canada,
out to
yeah.
Canada.
Toronto.
So
Yeah,
that's what I said. So yeah, in first class.
Trying to think.
I have flown first class twice. Uh, it was nice. The seats were a little bit more spacious. I felt
yeah.
important, even though I wasn't. I just got there because of the grace of God. And it was the last open available spot on the flight, and the lady is like, "Oh, I guess this is yours." I guess
Hey,
it
Ah,
is.
so you are
Dr. Poole
important,
on
Bobby.
IG
You
is
are
saying
important.
that flights over 3 hours, the flights have to be over 3 hours to get a meal.
Mm,
Oh, yeah.
mm.
Well, that flight was 6.
Yeah, 6 hours. Ugh.
LA
Oh, that's
to
not too
Toronto was
bad.
6.
Not too bad, but I mean, it's one of those, because I read that article, right? It sucks because like being the main carrier, right? It was talking about how they were gonna do an inspection, and they were gonna inspect their third party vendors processes to see how that got missed. And my takeaway from that was this, for all the entrepreneurs with small businesses, small companies, and stuff like that, right? Is you gotta know your processes, right? Check your processes, quality control the processes, because like, how did that get missed? You know what I mean?
Did you not see the package moving?
Yeah.
No, it's like okay. Picture this. Sicily, 1895. Now just play. Let's go, girls moment. But no, close your eyes and just think. You sitting at a desk. I mean, you sitting in a chair. You on your flight. Oh, you about to get your food. You're settled in. Just watch the in-flight movie. The silver platter that's come across your plate, and you lift the lid up so elegantly because you can smell the goodness. And then you turn around, and Mickey Mouse is like, "Hello." It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello. It's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to Disneyland.
Have you ever encountered something like that though in such a tiny space? Because I'm going somewhere with this.
Oh heck nah. But go ahead.
And that's
Take us there. Take us
I
there, Bobby.
don't like.
I'm gonna take you there. I'm gonna take you there. Back in September 2018, we flew out. Because of Hurricane Harvey that happened over in Houston and stuff. It downed so many flights and stuff. So our flight out to Denver ended up getting all messed up, and so the guy was like, yeah, you have to come back in the morning, and we can fly you to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco we can fly you to Denver. It was such a mess, and so my husband and I agreed to it because we had a wedding to get to. So we come in the morning. It's extremely early, mind you. At this time, when you go early in the morning, all the lights on the plane, they're off. They only put the lights on the board. The moment we're getting onto the tarmac, everything is pitch black in there, and well, at least almost pitch black. And so I told my husband, I'm like, man, I'm starting to get a little chilly. And I had brought my black sweater with me. And I go to pick up my sweater. I'm about to open it up. And as I open it, oh shit, scorpion on my sweater. Woo! So here's what I did. I didn't want to alert the whole plane. No, I'm an adult. And I'm okay with I'm okay with getting stung for the sake of not wanting to scare people when it comes to that, because I could have been dramatic. I was like, we ain't doing that. I shuffled the like arms of my sweater very tightly onto it, and I told my husband, he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "It is 6:15 in the morning. Tell me why I would be playing about that." Like that.
No, we're not playing about stuff. Like, who makes that up? Hey, I'm just jiving.
I'm gonna let you finish just real quick.
He's like,
I got it.
Like, what do you want me to do? I said, grab a flight attendant. I said, and have like hurry. I don't want this thing to sting me through my sweater. So flight attendant comes down the aisle, and I said, hey, whistle at the dude. I'm like, hey, listen, I picked up my sweater, and there's a scorpion on it. He goes, like a real scorpion? No,
it's a fake one, yo.
Fake one.
It's DTG. Yeah. It's
and
DTG,
then he tells me, what should we do? Dog, I don't know. You're the flight attendant. Maybe you can tell me what protocols do you have to kill these things on your plane, right? So I told him, where's the nearest restroom? He goes, oh, it was actually like in the middle of the plane. And so he was like, it's actually right here. I said, okay. I told my husband, get up. And so I'm still holding my sweater into a ball. And I told the guy, open up the door, turn on the light. He's like, what are we going to do? I'm going to throw out the scorpion on the sweater. So he opened it up, and I flung out the sweater. I didn't drop the sweater, but I flung out the scorpion, and it landed on the floor, and it started crawling away, and the dude went in there and like stomped on it. But because the door opened to the plane, everybody's like, what's going on?
Oh no.
And he ended up telling me, thank you for not freaking out 150 people on the plane. I was like, you're welcome.
Hey, kudos to you.
You're welcome.
Look, let me just tell you something.
We have too many crazy things happening on planes, and I didn't want to alert a whole bunch of people for a bug, you know.
Let me tell you something what happened with me. It was me. Ejectocito, cuz.
Oh, hell no. What the hell? I'm tired of these scorpions on this month. Nah.
Exactly. But look, man, I'm telling you, my wife, if she saw that, she'd be like, Corey, You gotta be kidding me. And I'd have been like, what, babe? She's like, there's a scorpion in my sweater. They were like,
Nah,
what
I
happened
would
to
have
Man,
tried.
Corey?
don't be weak. I'm like, get your ass up. Don't be weak.
I'd be
I would
like,
have did what you did, just balled it up in the sweater and just
You
took it
balled
to
it
the
up?
bathroom. But the mouse,
I kept my cool. Kept my cool.
that mouse, I'm not keeping my cool. If you telling me a mouse jumps out of my food on the plane, I'm about to. Oh hell no! I'm freaking everybody out. Everybody's a Mr. Mouse in my plane.
No, see if it was a mouse that was moving slow enough, just grab it. Just grab it by the tail. Honestly,
A
just grab
mouse?
it by the
I
tail.
will never
That's-
touch a mouse
I'm
with my
not
bare
grabbing
hands.
no mouse by the tail, man.
Yeah.
Bobby, you are
Grab,
G, because I would not do it.
grab what?
Hey, that's the
I'd be
Man,
like,
girls, man. They
zombie
brave. Dude.
apocalypse. Y'all ain't on my team.
no, I'm on your team. I'm the sniper. I'm the sniper on the top of the Costco building.
Don't the mouse try to bite me if I'm got it like that? It's not
No,
gonna try
you
to
can't
bit me.
because it'll just do this number, but it can't move its whole body up to the tip of its tail. It can't do that.
So if it's hanging here, you mean it ain't gonna try to get me right there?
No.
And I'm not gonna test that theory.
I'm
So
not-
I'm
I
just
take it. You've
I'm a
never fed a
person
mouse
who
to a snake. No.
say
No.
what now?
No.
So you've never fed a mouse to a snake.
They were. Oh, you know what? I actually did. You know what? I did. Now that I'm thinking about it,
They'll
you're
wiggle,
right.
but they cannot move their whole body to the top of the tail to bite
You're
you.
right, because I remember it having classes where they let us put the mouse in the tank and then you watch the snake eat the mouse. I'm like,
Yep.
that sounds like animal cruelty. Now that I think about it, as a kid, because they let us do it as kids. I was in Hawthorne, though. I don't know. You was in Gardena. I was at the Hawthorne. I was. Hey,
Corey.
shout out to Yukon. Shout out to Zilla Davis Elementary. You know what I mean? They let us. I remember that. No, you're right. You're right. I take that back. I still would have freaked out though. On
nah.
IG question for y'all: if you were on a flight eating your meal and the mouse jumps out of your plate, what would you do? Ooh, chime in on
And
that.
it's protein day.
It's protein day. That speaking of protein, Dr. Poole said he flew from Los Angeles to Florida, and they let us get sandwiches or a chicken meal. What about a mouse meal?
What about yeah?
The
What
Mickey
about one
Mouse
of them?
package.
A rodent dog.
Ugh. I ain't like that.
A slice of mice.
That's a good one. Slice of mice.
All right, Corey.
That's
Okay,
not-
man.
That sounds like some
I'm
stick
done.
food at PetSmart, yo.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's crazy though, man.
Fried, four-legged, friendly.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What else we got, man?
Look, but no. Let's go ahead and turn the pages to something very serious. Very serious. Our brother, like no other, Geronimo, his wife had a situation that we all do not like to get a call when something like this has happened. I'm gonna let him speak more on it. I've actually had that call happen to me before too. Thank God that my wife was okay. Thank God your wife is getting better.
Yeah,
But,
thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You speak on it.
Yeah, man. So like right before we were
this is
supposed
serious.
to go live last week, she called me, frantic, just panicking. She just got in a car accident, so I had to tell the team I'm not gonna make it, and I'm out. I flew over there, and it's one of those things too. We've all seen it, right? When there's the fire truck, EMT, police cars. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on, so I'm just like trying to figure stuff out. In the grand scheme of things, man, where she got hit at, she was coming out of a side street on the main road. There was a train coming. So all the traffic going towards the train, of course, is stopped. So she's inching her way out to get to the turning lane. The moment she gets in that turning lane and start her turn, cop car from the nowhere. I don't know if the cop got a call. It's right down the street from the police station. We don't know, but that cop was using that lane to get around traffic, and just bad timing. Boom, got the wifey, man. Totaled the car. But she was okay. She got the where it got hit, the front of the car took most of the damage. So she's definitely dealing with the whiplash and stuff like that. I think a lot of us been in car accidents. I still deal with after effects of whiplash. So she's going through that journey to heal up. But I wanted to share that because it's a couple of things that I've learned. I've been in 2 accidents since I lived here in Texas in 5 years. Both accidents got rear-ended. Got an attorney, and I won both cases. So we're going through that now, and like I've had conversation with my barber and different type of stuff, man. We even had one, and we were talking about the settlement, right? So this is what I've learned. This is what I want to pass on to anyone in the technically speaking community is. If you get in an accident, you know you're not at fault, don't go at it alone. Get one of those attorneys. And the number one like objection people will say about like getting an attorney, oh, but they're gonna take their money. Yes, that's what they do. Let them get their money so you can get your money.
Get your money.
Because I think the typical rate is like 33%, right?
33%. They can't take a dime more than 33%.
I don't think so. I'm pretty positive my mother-in-law just won a lawsuit, and she did exactly what you said. The insurance company is willing to pay her, I think, $250K out of pocket, but she chose to go get a lawyer, and I'm almost positive they took 45% of her. I don't want to say how much she got, but of a
for an automobile,
much bigger cut.
And the rate might go up, depending on the settlement, but take 50%. If I'm getting, way more than what they were going to offer me, I want you to get paid to do your job and do it well. You know what I mean?
It's still life-changing money. Even after the lawyers get their cut, even after medical bills get paid, if you're smart and you use your resources correctly, you can spread that money out.
Yeah, no, definitely. So another thing I wanted to share, right? Like I went and got some numbers, right? The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, say that 5 times fast.
NHTSA.
There you go. It's NHTSA.
NHTSA.
All right. So in 2022, there were 5,930,496 accidents reported to the police. So we look at five, let's just say 6 million, simple math, right? 6 million car accidents. Out of that, like those 6 million people, let's pretend they all have insurance. What's like the average rate for insurance right now? If just car insurance, what
depends. If you're over 25, like me, I pay $230 for 2 vehicles. I have full coverage on both vehicles, along with what is it called? Rental. Right.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, so let's say 200, just for simple math, right? So you got 6 million people, 6 million drivers paying insurance, right? At $200 a month, right? You're looking at $1.2 billion just in car insurance premiums, right?
Yeah.
That insurance companies are making just off that 6 million, and that's not even all drivers. I'm just using those numbers because that's what I found, right? So the way I look at it, right? We give them this insurance money all the time. How often do we ever get a chance to get a return on that?
You know what I mean? We don't.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't.
So like for the people that be like, oh man, but the lawyers are gonna take 45%, 33%. I'm like, dude, we never get none of that back unless you really go through the processes to get a good settlement, right? And that's my encouragement to everyone is, dude, we paying them and they get money.
I was say too, and they
may not use,
No, I was just gonna go off of what you said too. Like, be patient with the process. It's not overnight. Be patient with the process. Those things take time. Having to go to court, having to reach out to the insurance companies and stuff like that. It definitely takes time. It's not an overnight process. So be patient and be mindful while you're in that waiting process and stuff. Take care of yourself.
And when you do get it, that's the one thing I want to encourage people to get a lawyer. If you know you're not at fault, get a lawyer. Get one of those attorneys. Don't do it alone because they know the game. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do all of that for you. So with that being said, right? Because now we're down to 1 car now. So now that's an adjustment.
That's a big inconvenience too.
A huge inconvenience. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I just want enough so we can get another car, man. Because that car was paid off. We ain't have no car payment, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it put us in a unique situation to say the least, right? So again, I mean, we got to go for the money, man. We've been paying it. I need some of that back now.
For real, yeah.
Go get
it. Hey, we about to do that. But like another thing I want to share too is if you do get an attorney, listen to the attorney because by the time I got to the scene, they had already towed the car, right? And if I would have got there in time, I would have told them to just tow it here to the house, right? But
Right.
no, they took it to the tow yard, right? Just for one day, and to get it towed here at home was like $500 off
Yeah.
the rip, off the
Yeah.
rip. So, but they were trying to convince us to keep it there, and we had just got off the phone with the attorney, and we were telling them, "Hey, we're going to get our car." The attorneys had advised us get it out the impound as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So it was funny because they had just told us, "Hey, get it out as soon as possible." And then when we get into the impound, they're like trying to convince us to leave it there. Oh, it's gonna be so much money if you try to do this. Just let the junkyard buy it. They'll buy it for X amount. I'm like, no, we'll just go ahead and take it out. Because our lawyers told us go ahead and take it out. And we'll just pay whatever. So that seemed kind of funny. Like, why are you trying to convince us to just leave it here? You know what I mean?
It's always the money. It's always the money grab. It's always a money grab.
Always.
Yeah. But I think you're right. You know what I'm saying? We pay these insurance companies for the service, for the things that we, to protect us. And I think if you look at it, insurance is like one of those, I wouldn't say last resort, but it's almost one of those things like, you want to have it when you need it because you don't. What is it?
It's better to have it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. And I was thinking the same thing, because I've when I rented a car, this is what happened when me and wifey rented a car because I was having issues with my car. It was in the shop, and so I was like, I could have. I mean, it was the weekend. My car wasn't gonna be ready till the following Monday. No, the following Tuesday. So I just went ahead and got the car rental. Right, had it over the weekend. She was driving home from on Monday. We was gonna take the car back on Tuesday. She got into a car accident. Somebody did not stop at a stop sign. My wife didn't have a stop sign. Bam, hit her. Right. Thank God that when we get a car rental, we just get the bumper to bumper because we know how car insurances are. You know what I'm saying? It takes forever. Nobody want to deal with it. And thank God that we got that rental car because that would have been our personal car.
Oh,
You
good
know what I'm
point.
saying?
Good point. Yeah.
And I didn't like. That's why whenever I travel, even if it's somewhere like we're 3 hours away from San Diego, rent a car. 5 hours away
Hey,
from
that's
San
a good life
Francisco,
hack right there.
rent
Good
a car.
point. I mean, you got me
Yeah,
thinking next time we go to like South Padre or something, I might just go ahead
yeah.
and rent a car.
Rent a car because here's the thing: it's a lot of variables. You don't want to put the mileage on your car. You want to be at risk at if something happens to your car, and you also want to make sure that if something does happen, hey, I pay for bumper to bumper. I'm square as a bear. My car is at the house, and I'm good.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
News we
Corey,
can use,
now
baby.
that
That's what we
is
about. If you get into that situation, get you an attorney, right? Go get some of that money back. And if you're gonna take a long trip, save your car, rent a car. I like that, dude. I'm gonna start doing that. Go ahead,
now
Bobby.
that is news you can use.
That is
Yes.
news you can
Good
use.
idea.
Hey,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
hell of an idea.
Good idea.
You know what? I have a whole bunch of ideas that I think we need to have a segment on for real. Because think about it. When you go buy a car, think now, Geronimo. I'm telling you this because you're about to be in this situation. You about to go car shop. Um, Rent the car you think you want to buy. Rent it for half a day
Mm,
Huh.
because you may not be comfortable in that vehicle, or it may not be the hype that you were interested in.
Oh, that
And
is a good idea.
that's a good
you know what I'm
idea.
saying.
That is
That's
a
a
Another
really
great
good
idea.
idea.
because you think about it, how many times we buy a car that we never rented. Even when we were younger, we would buy a car that we never rented. And we was like, "Oh, we want this car because of the aesthetics,
Yeah.
or we
No,
know
you're
it get
right.
good gas mileage." And
Yeah.
we do a 30-minute test
Test
drive,
drive.
and
Hmm.
that's it. Nah, rent.
Good
I mean,
point. That's a dope idea.
you know what I'm saying?
Huh.
Spend the hundred and fifty
I'm doing
dollars,
it.
rent the car, see how it drives long term. Run the
Yeah,
gas
yeah.
all the way out so you can know at what point what happens, what lights come on, things like that. You're familiar with it, and then take it back, fill it up to the rental place, and then you and your wife say, "Is this a vehicle you want to have for the
Mm-hmm.
next time we buy
Yeah.
another car?"
Yeah. Nah, good
Yeah,
point. And matter of fact, you could use them long trips to do it. Like trip one, hey, do this, try this car. Trip two, try that car, and then
yeah,
that's a good way to do some shopping around.
yeah.
I
I
like
mean,
that.
you
You know what?
shopping
We're
with your
talking about taking the kids out to the beach this weekend. that I might look in that because I really want a Hyundai Palisade. I really, really
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
Lower
that Palisade
down.
Those are
nice.
nice.
I
I have
want
one.
a Hyundai Palisade, the calligraphy edition, because
Ooh,
I own a
fancy.
Chevy Suburban. Anyways, it's the LTZ. It's the highest, the best trim
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
No,
can
those
get.
are nice. Those are nice. I enjoyed it.
It's premier type trim, and I was like, man, I want the calligraphy edition, which is the highest, most like luxurious trim that you can get for the Hyundai Palisade. I may talk to my husband and say, hey, we got the extra. If we got the
Go
extra
rent
little
one.
cash, let's just go
Yeah.
ahead and rent out the Palisade for a
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah.
test it out, put a little bit of miles on a vehicle that we're talking about getting into, and just
Yeah.
seeing what the features look like, see the comfortability, how the kids can kind of stretch out a little bit in it, and
And also, when buying
you know,
property, Airbnb, do the same thing. Do an
Man, hey, we're gonna
Airbnb.
start doing a segment called
Good ideas by Corey.
Hey,
dang,
I don't
just in
know if
time for
that's an angel
Halloween.
or a devil, but that boy sounded really weird.
About to do an exorcism online.
You know what I'm saying? You about to have me praying in tongues. Shit about a
For
Honda.
real.
what you say? Shut about a Honda. Shut about a Honda.
Oh my
I'm saying,
gosh.
So
but
yeah,
nah,
man. I
but
mean, some good takeaways, man.
yeah,
Definitely. I mean, because it happens, man. It definitely happens.
yeah,
If you get in a car accident, man, get you an attorney, man. And don't get lowballed by these insurance companies because their job is to save the company money, not
Yeah.
give away the money. Because they'll make it
right.
sound good, like, hey, Mr. Alvarez, man, we can settle for you right now for $10,000. They'll make it sound real good too.
Real good. And
And then you
ten
got to
thousand
think
dollars, like
if they willing to give me 10,000 off the rip, what can I really get? Go
right.
ahead and call an attorney, and I'll
Yeah.
shout them out right now. Maybe
Oh
eventually
yeah.
later we can get a deal with them. But it's the law boss. I go to the law boss for all my accidents here in Texas. Period. They took care of your boy, man, and now they're taking care of the wifey. So and
Nice.
she's in a lot of pain, man. So it matters because I was talking to someone else who was in an accident a while ago, and she was saying that like she had whiplash, but she didn't start feeling the effects till like maybe like 5 years after that. So
Yeah.
part of that compensation you get is to help with that too. So got to think
Right.
about that too, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And hey, I want to thank the Technically Speaking family because y'all supported me through the whole time. So thank you. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. So
Love you too, man. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
It's we got your back like spine cracking, 4 flats on the Cadillac. So, Bobby,
yeah.
talk to us about Bon Jovi, girl. Come on, bring it
Ooh,
in.
Bon
Talk to
Yeah,
Jovi.
us
so
about
I
Bon
was
Jovi.
gonna share this little inspirational story with our technically speaking fans last week. If you didn't hear, Bon Jovi was in the news, but not for anything music related like you might think. Actually, John Bon Jovi was walking on a bridge in Nashville, Tennessee, and he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He was about to catch a woman to jump off the bridge in an attempt to unalive herself. Unfortunately, that's the desperation she was in. We don't know the mental state of the woman, but he was
Yeah,
able to talk her off of that bridge
that's
and
Yeah,
able to save her life. And that's huge. And a lot of times we look at celebrities, and they're often off in their own little world. It could
mm-hmm.
have been anybody, but it was him.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
was at the right place at the right time and the right mindset too, because you got to be in a good mindset. Because a lot of times, we live in a very selfish world. We have our head buried in our phone. We ain't paying attention to things around us. And he
yeah.
stepped out. You know what I mean? He stepped out and he stepped up. And
That's what's up.
kudos to Bon Jovi for saving that woman's life.
and see,
I hope
and
she gets the mental health
as she
help that
needs,
she needs and
yeah,
stuff, so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that don't
nah.
happen.
Yup.
because Bon Jovi, he's popular and known throughout decades and decades in the
In
music industry.
countries, not just the
Yeah,
Yeah,
US, but
yeah,
yeah,
countries
and
too.
and and the thing about that is, it's like he's human. And see,
Mm,
a lot of
yeah.
celebrities we look at on TV, we think that they like, oh, they ain't got time for me, but in actuality, they probably do, because they
Yeah,
could look at
yeah,
that person and say, you know what, that could have been my brother on the bridge ready to
yeah,
jump off. That
yeah.
yeah.
could have been my sister. That could have
Yup.
been my mom. My some. It could have been somebody related to him. And I believe us
Mm.
as as humans, we need to start becoming more aware of life,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
life is never to be easy.
Nah.
Nobody, even rich people, they have problems. Famous
Yep.
people have problems. The only thing about it is, some is monetary, some is family, some is insecurity,
Yeah.
Mhm.
some
Mm-hmm.
is self, you know what I'm saying, like self imagery. We don't know what they're battling, but everybody's battling something.
Yep.
And the fact that, if we were all be a little more human and realize that, what, struggles happen to everybody, I believe that this world could be somewhat of a better place. Not saying it's a bad place, because I'm not trying to be funny. Like,
Yeah.
where I'm at, compared to what's going on overseas in Gaza and in Ukraine and in Russia,
Mhm.
I I'm in a real good
Yeah, we
position.
in a good
Yeah.
spot,
Oh
man.
yeah.
No, you're right. You're
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
To your point,
So
Creative Native on IG. Shout out to
shout out
everyone showing us
Creative
love
Native.
on IG. He said, we live in a generation that would rather record you jumping off a bridge or building rather than the help.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and I've seen that, and that's sad, right? Back to
Yeah.
your point is we just I've been saying this, man. We need to go back to being a village, man. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
can we put that on the shirt? Go back to being a village.
Go back to
Yeah.
being a village. Yeah, man. Put it
Yeah,
on
man.
the
I will
shirt.
have it. I will have it on our website,
Let's
and
do
I'll
that.
have it on our
Because I
t-shirt.
want it. That's just a request
Yeah.
for me. Now, everyone else that want to show love and be, show that
It takes
community.
a village.
It
That's what
takes
it's
a
going.
village. That's what we
It
need.
takes a
Yeah, it takes a
village.
village, man.
Yep.
I mean,
Mhm.
and it sounds like Bon Jovi did not forget that he's part of the human village. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so that's
Mhm.
love right there, man. And we said that earlier that the money is just gonna enhance who you already are.
Who you really
That
Yeah.
are.
sounds like
Yeah.
Bon Jovi is just a good person. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And you know what happens to good people? They stick around for a lot longer than bad
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Because
They got more work to do.
think about it, just Bon Jovi, right?
Mhm.
Like that man, he has to be in his 70s,
At
70s,
least. At
80s.
least.
Yeah.
He's still kicking enough to be able to talk somebody off of a bridge.
No, that's
Mhm.
good, man.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like God is extending his life. Go ahead, Bon Jovi. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
heck
When I
yeah.
get to heaven and he at heaven, we
Mhm.
gonna talk. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And have you
Heaven,
a jam
heaven
session at
conversation.
least.
Yeah, you know it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I
Uh,
mean that's good because I mean you've heard that before, right? They don't put enough highlight or light on it. But I remember that Ti did something
He's
like that a
62
while
years
ago.
old.
62.
I had to go
62.
look. I was like, I don't think he's 70. He's 62, but
Nice.
he looks real good for his age. Looks like he's taken care of himself over the years, and that says a lot
Yeah.
too, probably about the state of his mental health and
Hmm.
whatnot. And you gotta be in the right place mentally to be able to go to somebody who's hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's standing there wanting to take their own life, and
Yeah.
you gotta say, hey, hold on, hey, hold on a second. I don't know what words he used. None of that's in the articles that I was reading because I was wondering. I'm like, what did he say to her?
What did he say?
What did he
Yeah.
say to
Yeah.
her
He
Yeah.
to
said
get
the right
her to
thing.
change her mind?
Hey, that's
You know?
love.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that's oh, I was gonna say, there's Ti. I remember Ti years ago, he did something like that. He was driving and he
Mhm.
saw a car, I think got flipped over or something in an accident, and he went and actually pulled someone out. It
Oh
was a
wow.
lady that he pulled out. I don't know if you remember hearing that. Corey, I was
Nah.
like,
But
probably at least maybe like 15 years ago, man.
uh,
So we got good people still out there.
yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. You know what I'm saying?
Creative
But
Native said he would have Martin Riggs the person. I'm not a sports
okay,
person, so I don't get the
me neither.
reference.
But you know what I'm saying? That hopefully he ain't talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, give him the good old. I hope
Maybe
that's not what
tackle him
that
off. I
means.
don't know. Is
You know what I'm
Bobby?
saying?
You the sports person of the show, huh? Nah, you got
No.
to
I
bless
am, but I don't know about Martin Riggs. I'm
Martin
gonna have to
Riggs.
look that
You
up.
gotta
Creative Native, I will look that up and go and
oh,
see.
Yep.
Lethal
Yep.
Weapon. Lethal Weapon. It's been a while. It's man, I haven't seen
Man,
that movie since I was.
bro.
that
Next time, man.
before
Look,
Mel Gibson was racist, right? Was that before he was racist?
racist. He's
What?
still racist. He isn't racist. I don't know. Look, I learned from 50 Cent. 50 Cent said this: two things you need to stay away from is politics and religion. Okay, me personally, I can't stay away from religion because I'm proud of who I am in my faith. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
can't stay away from politics because I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I told the team
Come
earlier
on,
with all
show
the shenanigans
'em.
going on in politics, man. I made my decision. This is who I'm voting for right here, man. That's who I'm voting for right there.
Put some horns on that.
Hey,
Put some
hey, hey,
horns
hey,
on
hey,
that.
because you know what? Presidents are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever. Let's go.
Wu-Tang.
Hey,
What's
Wu-Tang forever.
Dave
That's who
Chappelle?
I'm
Remember
voting
Dave
for.
Chappelle? Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang. Oh
Yeah,
man.
man. So speaking of voting and elections, I requested this because we had so many conversations. Let me tell y'all, the technically speaking community is your fault because I was never into politics. Y'all got me into politics. Creative Native he's always trolling me with some political stuff. I'm not even into that, but I'm trying to. I'm one of the voters that's undecided, right? And I'm trying to figure out who to vote for, right? And in conversations, the Electoral College came up. I've heard about the Electoral College, but back at Gardena, I was too busy chasing women with Corey before he was married, of course,
Don't
back in
throw me in
Gardena
there.
High School. I'm putting you on Front
No,
Street.
no,
You,
no, no.
you threw me on Front Street plenty of times, so it's
Yes,
my
I
turn.
yes,
We
go
was
ahead.
too busy chasing girls, so I kept ditching government class. So I
Oh,
did not learn some of the basics in government, so I don't really know how the Electoral College works. So Bobby is doing us a favor. She's going to break that down. So, ma'am, the floor is yours.
I sure am, and I will tell you too. If you know me, if you've known me for at least a little bit, you know there are two things I don't stay away from: politics and religion. They are
okay.
not taboo in my book. We will talk about it. We can civilly, I guess, disagree. You can agree to disagree and stuff. Um,
Yeah,
every opinion that I give you is going to stand on the foundation of my biblical faith and who I am as a person through my experiences and through my faith. So that's where
yeah,
my opinions are going to come from. However, the electoral college doesn't come from necessarily from a position of faith, but just a position of history. And so we're going to kind of take this time to dive into it, although we're not going to go extremely deep. Right now, with the presidential election coming up, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not fair. This person got voted in and they shouldn't have been voted in. If you know how the electoral college works, then you would know why we have it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Let us know, sister, because I want to know.
and this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm gonna give you a quick statement, and then I'll kind of go into what you need to do if you want to change things in the future. Okay, so all of the 50 states, they are given different presidential electors, and it's equal to the amount of the representatives and the senators in every single state. The amount of representatives and senators in every single state has to do with the amount of the population. So let's take California, for example. California has over 40 different areas where they have one person represented for that specific area. And so when people are like, oh, I'm not going to show up to these local elections, well, those local elections are how these people get into these seats. So you can't
Mm.
complain about how the election didn't go according to your liking if you stayed home during the local elections, because those people are who represent you. So what happens is, like, let's say for the state of Texas. So the state of Texas, because of the size of the population, they themselves have different districts. There's a representative for every single district. I think that state of Texas, according to the Library of Congress, they have 34 electoral votes that go to the overall um, voting points, or the score, I guess, during the presidential election. There's 530 votes given across the United States, and you need 270 to win, or 271, I'm sorry, to win.
Mm.
And what we need to understand is there's a lot of people that complain. They said, oh, the person that got elected wasn't the person who got the popular vote. However, we don't go off of the popular vote, and this is why it's important. When you go to the polls and you go and you vote, your vote gets cast into a certain um, ballot box where the representative for that specific area looks at how many people voted for this person, how many people voted for this person, and they will take it and say, okay, for this specific person, we had 54% vote for Kamala Harris in this specific instant. So they put one vote in on the Democratic Party. You know, you go to another part of Texas and they're like, okay, well, this person, according to the amount of constituents that they represent, 57% voted for Donald Trump, one in for Donald Trump. And so what this ends up doing is giving a voice to every single person in the United States, even in these rural areas where without those representatives, they would not even have a voice in the popular vote. So here's what would happen, and this is the absolute truth. If we did not have the Electoral College, you need to understand California and New York will always be the deciding factor for the presidential election from here on out based off the population. That's it. Wow. And that does not give the rest of the United States a voice. And if we want to talk about equity and inclusion, then we need to make sure to include the little people out in the middle of nowhere, our farmers, people who take care of us, people who are out doing those hard jobs. And we don't want to be able to recognize, you know, where they stand. And we want everybody's voices heard. Everybody's voice.
That makes sense, because I figured majority rules, right? I thought that's what a democracy was.
We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. We are
say that one more time. Say it again.
We are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy.
Well then there you go. That's why we don't have majority Wednesday. But that makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate that, because now I have a bit better understanding. Bobby, thank you.
Thank you. So my question about the Electoral College, right? It's not the popular. It's not the popular vote. So is that some of the reasons why, like, you have candidates campaigning in certain areas more so than others?
So yes, they're campaigning in what we call battleground states, and there's about 9 of them. These swing states, call them swing states because depending on how they vote can swing the election one way or the other. These are battleground states. Illinois and Pennsylvania, for sure. Pennsylvania is huge right now on the ballot for what's happening. You know, in the first assassination attempt on Trump happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, at his rally there. And so because of that has really just watching the polls may in fact swing red this year, where I think in 2020 it swung to the blue side. So it could vary, and those things are what swing an election. Now, when we look at back to states like California and Texas, which, by the way, if you don't know, California has the largest population in the continental 48 states. So we know for a fact California is going to vote blue down the party line, whereas Texas always votes red. So a lot of times candidates won't go to these states to go do a lot of heavy campaigning because they already know, based off of the history of the voting, how they're going to vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Donald Rumpf, not to be confused with Donald Trump, said, Georgia, that's why there's so much stress over the polls that happened in Georgia when it was Trump versus Biden. Absolutely, sir.
Now, I will say this: if I could do anything about changing the way we do run our elections, I do believe, and you've heard me talk about it, we need to take the digital arm out of things and go straight back to paper ballots. Go straight back to paper ballots. This is going to reduce, and this goes for Republicans, Democrats, and independents. This is for everybody. If you truly care about the way our elections are being run, let's all go back to paper ballots. You can't screw that up. But when it comes to, you know, the different voting machines and being connected to the internet and the amount of hacking that is going on right now, should we trust that?
Good point.
That's a good point.
Good point. Scantrons, baby. Those are the ones that were like,
weren't they? No more Scantrons.
That was a comment that came from Creative.
Before anybody throws stones at me, I do want you to know I have voted in local elections for like the last 15 years. I always vote local. I go to see who's sitting in school board seats, superintendents of areas, any of those minor chairs to be elected in. You should know who are sitting in those chairs, because when issues happen, you need to know who exactly is representing your district. Who's your district representative? How do you rather than just sitting at the table and crying and complaining about how things aren't going this way or this way, reach out to those people who represent your district. They
Good
are
point.
supposed to
And
be
that's
the
great
voice of the
advice.
constituents.
And she's teaching me, because when you said it, I don't know none of that, man. I don't even know. I live in Converse. I don't even know who the mayor is. Like, I need to get back. I got some work to do, man. Like, hey, I'm being honest. Like, how many other people are out there just like me? I don't know none of that. I know Kamala Harris and Trump and that, but I don't know. I don't know the sheriff. I don't know none of that, man.
Well, you need to know about the government, because the governor controls the money.
Now I do know the governor because he's always in the news. So
Yeah. you gotta follow the money, Gmo. Please follow the money.
Hey, I know that part. So we got a couple of comments. So Creative Native earlier said Californians will complain about the living situations and talk about change, and then vote the same folks back in these seats. Then what else? And then we got Genevieve. Shout out to Genevieve showing love on IG. Local elections are important. Love that. Yeah. That's it's just so okay. I got a question. For those of us that are busy grinding, right? How do you make hustling? Every day I'm hustling. How do you make time to learn all of that, man? That's my frustration, honestly.
So
go ahead.
It goes back to when we was running the campus. We should have been paying attention, because literally right after we graduated, because you turned 18 before you graduated from high school, and right after I graduated from high school, I turned 18, and that year was the year where we could have started paying attention, because in year 2000 was an election.
Yeah, that was my first one,
Clinton, right? And we were able to vote. But I think what we need to do is, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we may just have to pick up these little boxes we call phones in our hand and start doing some research on which way we vote, how it would affect us in long term.
Yeah,
you know
no, you're right.
Everything to me is research.
Yeah,
right.
And speaking of research, Creative Native, he offered a viable solution. Actually, he said ask a disabled person to look it up for you. They got the time, cuz. That's not a bad. That's actually a good piece of advice.
So we have a mixed group of people here, I guess, on where we stand on some issues. I don't stray away from the topic at all. So just so you are aware, I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, and I am voting for him in 2024. While I do not always agree with some of the things that he said, that man is funny. I don't always agree with everything he says, but I go back to policies, because where it hits me in my pocketbook, where things start to affect my family and affect my girls, those are kind of what I look like. I go and remember what my life looked like between 2016 and 2020, and I go back and look from 2020 and 24, and I see the struggle, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that. But again, we go back to policies. And I build mine on that foundation of faith. Do I expect everything to be perfect? No. While it may not be, 100% falling on my biblical and moral values, if I can get to an 85%, then that's what we're rolling with.
There's a threshold.
That's what I'm rolling with. And so, before anybody tries to attack me, just know that
there's no attack. So actually, Genevieve, because to answer my question on like how the heck do I learn like about our local, people that are running, right? She actually shared something. This is from Genevieve. Most cities put their council meetings online. If you can't attend, follow your mayor on social media, see their policies. Who are they? Got to make time to look into it.
And who endorses them too? Who's paying into their campaign? Because that's another thing, especially on the local election level, because who gets voted into the local election level, if they begin to push out certain laws and stuff, or certain little bills that get put through, and they begin to positively financially affect that company who just endorsed them, you always got questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, good point.
You always got questions. And so, to answer your question though, Gmo, I got interested in all this probably back when Obama was running. And maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I started actually getting into local politics. So there's quite a few signs around San Antonio that people are running for certain things, and I personally know those people. Really? Because I got involved on the local level, on a political level.
Nice.
because this is where it starts. When we talk about that grassroots movement, this is where it starts.
Yeah.
It don't start in big cities. No, it starts in people's homes. It starts at rallies. It starts when you begin to have like-minded people that say, yeah, you know what? I did have this happen, and I did see how this policy affected me, or you know what happened, and you begin to collaborate and build trust and friendships and networking with all those people.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. And to add to that, Genevieve had another note. She said, doesn't have to be over extensive research. It's good to know at least what track they're on. And you're a good example of that. You know what I mean? Because what you just listed out right on that journey was you took the time to know all of them. You knew them personally. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to carve out some time for that. I don't know nothing. I'm in Converse. I don't know none of them folks.
Well, let me tell you something. And I don't know how to say the man's name right, but a lot of people I know him. And he was he's one of the mayors, or he's running for one of the mayors. Mayor position. I'm not sure is it Carson or it's not Gardena or Torrance, or one of the way or the other. He was a customer of mine. And
nice.
Yeah, well, not nice because of the fact. Well, let me scratch it. He wasn't a customer. He was a prospect because some people, when you're doing cold call businesses and you're trying to reach out to them to sell them something, you have to schedule a meeting so that you'll be able to see the person face to face before you send them out $5,000 worth of cell phone equipment.
Yeah.
So I go out there and I meet with him, and this guy is like, he's highly arrogant. He's like, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, you have your own nonprofit. This is what you're doing." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, based off of what I prospected and how I got in contact with you, this is who you are. Like, nah, man, I'm about to be the next big thing in Southern California. And I'm like, that don't care. I don't look. That stuff does not entertain me. I don't care because what you eat don't make me whoop. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bruh, man, tell me about your business so I can validate me sending you these iPhone 12s at the time, right? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? You should know about me. I don't even know why I even took this meeting if you're not just gonna hand me these phones." I'm like, "You know what, sir? I bid you a good day.
Bye.
Have a good one," and I'm out. And so then I'm leaving a mixer, an event, and I see the same guy, and everybody all upon him. I'm like, "Oh." And then I see he's running for a position, and I'm like, and he calls himself a man of God. Okay, I judge the fruit by the spirit. You feel me? So when I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah, you one of them guys who gonna end up being on TV 5 or 6 years from now saying that you did something to your congregation, because I know for the fact that you didn't know me from Adam, and you want to impress me by saying, "Do you know who I am?" Unless you forget, unless you change your life, repentance is for everybody, and you
Man,
change. Which
that makes me so mad hearing that.
hopefully he has. I mean, yeah, but this was in 2018, so hopefully he changed his life around. COVID affected a lot of people. COVID humbled a lot of people. Hopefully it did. But if he didn't, I'm like, bruh, deuces, because I'm not voting for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're not in my city, because if you was, I'd have. You know what I'm saying? I'd make my own smear campaign by just telling the truth, just putting your truth out there. You feel me? I still got notes from the meeting, brother.
Hey, it's like we said earlier, man. Power and money, man. It enhances who they are, man. And if that's the type of person he was already showing you. What did Maya Angelou say? When people show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. And people don't. And another one of her quotes is, "People may forget what you've done for them, but they will never forget how they made you feel." He tried to make me feel real, real small.
Yeah.
And thank God I had the confidence to know who I am.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I could take this deal, or I can leave this deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't about to put in hard work into something that ain't gonna manifest into nothing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Good for you, Corey. That takes a bigger person. That takes a bigger person, man.
Yeah.
Good for you, for sure.
And you know what? That's a good way to wrap that up, to know your local politicians, right? So that way you can impact the federal vote, right? Local with your local vote, right? That's what I'm understanding is you got to pick the right people to represent, make those calls. Thank you for that. Now I got homework to do.
So when people are like, "Oh, my vote don't count," it actually does. Yeah, it actually does. Your vote truly does count for who gets put in that representative's position. So yes, it does. Please go out and vote. Make your voices heard. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but just know you have a right to do it. Stand out there and do it.
So I
There
should
you
not
go.
write Wu-Tang in on the ballot.
If you want to, that's your
Wu-Tang!
right.
Wu-Tang!
That's what's up. So speaking of politics, right? And thanks again. Now I have a better understanding, and now this is out there for those. I think Dr. Poole was sharing. He was saying thank you too. So I think he got something from that too. So it's all love. We got a couple of more. Let me see, Genevieve. Yep, especially with the school board. What they are showing our kids in California is crazy, and I've been hearing that. So
see, and we don't deal with that stuff really here in the rural part of. I live outside of San Antonio, but in this area, I don't think we're really dealing with some of that stuff.
No, yeah, because I've been getting that a lot from all my family and friends back in California. They're like, what about this? What about my? Yeah, that doesn't happen in Texas. So and that's where you make that impact too. So to your point, right? I've hadn't got a lot of messages about what certain parties do and what they don't do, right? But then I was like, well, what I've been learning, right? The federal don't really impact the local. So if you don't like what they're doing at the schools, you need to learn who's at that school board, right? And that's where you make that change.
It's easy to throw fingers at the head honcho, but it could be the miniature honchos that you need to go and talk to.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Genevieve. You're on point with that for sure.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So yeah, definitely voted against CRT and other weird stuff. Yeah, that's all kind of stuff. Yeah, this California, they're not happy with their schools out there.
No, we're not.
Well, you're in California, so
yeah,
Corey.
I'm not. But you know, one thing I can say is because my kids, well, I'm as far as what they're doing a lot. LA Unified is doing a lot for the kids that are the families and the kids that are unhoused, because that's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of students out there that go to school, but they go home. They don't go home. They go to a car, right, or a shelter, or a hotel. You know what I'm saying? LA Unified is providing kids with lunch, breakfast, lunch, and supper, and they're not saying like you can only have this and you can only have that. They're letting them take as much as they could, because sometimes that meal is not just feeding that student, it can be feeding their mom
too.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm glad LA Unified got on top of that.
That's good.
And then they also help with the wireless carriers that was out there during COVID. They helped bridge the digital divide, because kids were not able to learn. So you know what I'm saying? I know I was key part of that when I worked at T-Mobile. I helped a lot of school districts get hotspots with unlimited internet that schools were able to give to their kids, so they can be able to get on their online education,
right?
iPads and Chromebooks. True indeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
no, good point. We had some of that going on out here too during COVID, because I was at the IT training school, and we actually had a contract with the city, not the city, but the local workforce board. It's a unique relationship, but through them, they had used some of the COVID relief funds. Same thing, bridge the digital divide. They were helping people get hotspots. We were actually donating laptops. So like the students that came, we gave them the laptops because we knew that could make a difference. You know what I mean? But someone who probably didn't have the best job to begin with anyway, right? Now COVID comes, you lose that not so good job. And I do remember this, right? And shout out to Mayor Nuremberg for San Antonio. I remember, because I was in workforce development at that time, there was a city council meeting, and he had shared his plan to put a lot of that COVID relief money into retraining and reskilling. The constituents overall weren't really happy about that, because they were more saying, hey, I need more help with my rent, getting food and stuff like that. But I saw the vision. He was like, nah, I got to make sure you guys have skills so you can recover from this. And I respect, was not the popular thing either, because a lot of people were upset, because I think a lot of people, when you're in survival mode, you only think for the now. You know what I mean? In fact, I know that for sure, because we came from survival mode. You know what I mean? You're thinking for right now. But I think, and I saw a lot of the progress from that, and the dividends paid out from that, from investing in that, being able to have access to education, being able to get access to technology. You know what I mean? So, and back to the earlier point, you need to know your local folks, because those are the ones that'll make stuff like that happen. So, yeah, good point. Good point. Man, there's a lot of conversation going on about California schools on Instagram.
Hey, you know what? Tell them bring it to the show. You know
Bring
what I'm
it to the
saying?
show. Hey, we gonna get all y'all on here. Dr. Poole, he's ready to come back. But
Hey,
speaking of
listen,
politics,
we welcome all the comments from
yeah,
different
welcome
areas.
all.
We welcome
And
all.
then,
We just ask that you be civil and don't be name calling and
Yeah.
mudslinging, as
yeah,
Jimo called
yeah.
it. Be
Hey,
civil in your comments. Be
nigga,
civil in your
that
disagreement.
so let's get to this last topic, man. So speaking of tech, right? Not tech, but speaking of politics and tech, right?
And tech.
But so because we were talking about the Electoral College, right? And I wanted to go through this because what I want to share next, I think when it comes to that federal level, whoever's sitting in that White House can have a huge impact on this. And to kind of prime everyone up with this, you've heard our
Amazon?
conversations about TikTok, right? And why I thought it was always dangerous for us to have TikTok and why we should ban it. There's new things coming out now, right? As far as like foreign presence and different things here. Yeah, do y'all know what's going on out there in Lebanon or what happened out there in Lebanon?
Yes.
Man, yes, we do.
So let me go ahead and
Electronic
share
warfare,
this.
as I know it.
Yeah, man. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right because I want to make sure everyone can hear it. And then boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Yep, we Gucci. Let me play this and then I'll share my 2 cents on this.
Please do.
Joining us now is Gatestone Institute senior.
Can y'all hear that?
He's author of the
Yes.
upcoming Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Gordon Chang back with us. And Gordon, you've got a warning about this as well, about these devices and how Israel was able to infiltrate the supply chain to get back at Hezbollah. But you think China could do the same thing to anybody, to America?
Yeah, it would be a lot easier for China. Remember, Israel had to infiltrate the supply chain. China doesn't have to do that because it is the beginning of the supply chain. They manufacture all of this stuff. So if we're talking about pagers, walkie-talkies, but remember also home solar systems, which means your toaster. You can do all of these devices can be laced with explosives. And so therefore, everything that we buy from China can be a weapon against the United States.
And one thing we were talking about in the commercial break is the fact that America buys drones from China. What is it? DJI. Is a drone maker, a Chinese owned. Yes. And we're using these drones in the military? Are you serious?
And the Secret Service and the FBI. You know, these drones, DJI has 70% of the global drone market. And, you know, if you buy a DJI drone, the default position and setting on these things is the stuff goes to the cloud, which means it goes to China. Which means every time you put the money.
Boom. So that I wanted to share with that, right? Because one, when it comes to what's going on out there between Lebanon and Israel, right? It's as he shared, it's suspected that Israel infiltrated the supply chain, right? Now it ain't my place to talk about what's going on between them. That's their business. But I will say I'm not happy about like kids and innocent civilians dying and stuff like that because a lot of people did die in that. Over 3,200 people were injured, and then over 30 people were killed with those attacks, right? So that I don't like when it comes, it just needs to be the combatants, right? That's going to our LOAC training, Bobby. You know what I mean? But aside from that, what I wanted to get people to think about, right, is as you're making your decisions, who you voting for, that can make a difference because we rely on China a lot, and let me share some numbers with you, right? So according to the U.S. Census Bureau, just today, we've imported over $239 billion worth of goods from China.
I believe it.
Everything, electronics, toasters, refrigerators, you know what I mean? Like that is a lot. We rely on them. What's stopping them from embedding stuff in our goods and electronics that we're getting? That is a known adversary, dog. Like, and then you couple that with the whole TikTok thing, right? Like,
listen, we're late to the game. We are so late to the game. They got so much data on all of us because they've probably been doing this for years. I'm not even going to say probably. They have. They're ahead on the technology game. Building out laptops with chips on them and stuff.
Boom. And it's not so far-fetched because I can say this. There were times when we had to replace computers when I was still on that computer because we found out they had motherboards from China. We had to replace them all, dog. Like,
I remember.
There's not many things that scare me. That scares me. I mean, because with the Lebanon, that's proof of concept. You know what I mean? So like, and I throw that out there to tell people, man, like we really need to dig into these policies and who, you know, can impact that. And all BS aside, right? We need that manufacturing coming back to the US, man. Like it's we need to demand that as constituents because one, it puts us in a safer position and it could create jobs. You know what I mean? Like that right there, like for real, we need to be sounding the alarms. Because yes, you said Amazon earlier. We get a lot of that stuff from Amazon. I just got a box from Amazon. You know, I'm addicted to it too.
Okay, just realize. Side note: I am an Amazon influencer. Use my link when you buy, so I can get paid. Back to that.
What were you saying, Bobby?
That's electronic warfare at its finest.
It
is being able to remotely send a signal from the other side of the world to your device to trigger that chip to explode.
And by the way, I bought that.
It's not even far-fetched or a conspiracy theory. We just saw the proof of concept. It can, in fact, happen.
Yeah.
You don't know when.
Yeah. Yep. That's, man. We got some comments on IG. Dr. Poole said, actually, Creative Native said, war isn't pretty or nice. This show isn't. And then Dr. Poole said, we owe China so much money that our government officials will never truly take action against China because we owe them so much money. And I also think that's why Donald Trump always talks about China. Creative Native said, I bought it from Amazon, and you look at the bottom of the product, made in China. Yep, everything I just opened from my Amazon Prime boxes are made in China. Good point. Man. What you got to say about that, Corey?
I'll be honest with you. It's like a slippery slope, right? Because of the fact that some of the stuff that we need, we can only get it from that area. Me personally, I try not to go above and beyond to get that stuff. Like I remember when I found out Temu was shipping everything from a Chinese warehouse, and I was like, "What? Okay, I'm gonna pass on this because I already got TikTok." And then I started realizing some of the TikTok stuff is getting shipped from a Chinese warehouse, so I stopped buying things off of that on TikTok unless it's being shipped local. Because of the fact that we know what time it is. Come on now, we're data's the new drug and AI is the new plug. So we ain't, you know what I'm saying? We already know. Like we buy something, they housing our information. Like
so as Americans, are we willing to pay a couple extra dollars for truly local stuff from the United States, or we want to try to save a couple of bucks
there it is.
And go ahead and ship from the other side of the world, which was probably put together by a kid. Same kid that's probably the age of your little son or your daughter that you adore. And they have other kids over there out in sweatshops. Truly, that's not even a conspiracy. They already called it. There's little kids out there working for pennies on the dollar just to get their family some food so that you can look cute.
Yeah.
And plus they clothes is never true size.
No, isn't. I always go up with size. The Creative Native said that this is a double-edged sword topic, which you're making a good point, right? Because to answer that question, I mean, let me see. Creative
anything made in the USA is gonna be more expensive. Granted, the quality is there, and you know that you're supporting local, so I would do that.
I mean, I'm always quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Meaning that if I'm gonna save a buck, but I'm gonna get trash, then I'm not gonna use it. So I was like, I waste it.
Yeah. Definitely pay more.
And now I can tell you this:
that he pays more for American-made products, but there's not that many businesses left to buy from that's American-made. That is a great point. That's a great point right there. What were you gonna say, Corey?
When it comes to vehicles, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like. But I'm not gonna trip because my Ford has been all right because I got two of them. I got a Ford Explorer and a Ford Expedition, and they've been okay.
My Chevy has been on point. That is by far probably, aside from my home, one of the best vehicular investments I've ever made is my 2016 Chevy Suburban, and it is a workhorse. It is a quality vehicle. I've very rarely had any issues with it. Keep up with normal tire rotation, normal oil changes. Take care of your car, and it'll take care of you.
Take care of you. I agree. Now, Kia, Kia and and Hyundai, I don't mess with.
Hold
'Cause
on, now that Palisade that Bobby wants is a Hyundai.
I
Now
get
listen,
it,
So
but
I,
no,
I
here's the
actually own a Hyundai Sonata, and that car has been a gem.
hey,
A
that thing
yeah.
is
gem.
dope.
Look,
It,
I'm not
I
knocking
picked you up and then
like I
dropped
said,
you off.
Yeah, she did. That
but
thing was rolling.
what I'm saying is it's because of the fact that those cars are being hacked by the Kia boys and the Hyundai boys. I
Good
don't know
point.
if you
Good
saw
point.
that.
Yeah, that's been happening
You
out
know what
here
I'm
too.
saying?
Yeah, that's been
It's
happening.
you know what I mean? So it's like yeah. But I when it comes to something that I know that one is going to benefit my economy, my
Yeah,
family, and my household, I'm gonna stick with American.
Yeah.
Period. Period.
Yeah.
yeah,
Point blank.
yeah, for
Period.
sure.
Now let me. I gotta at least look at this. Be an angel's advocate, as you say, right? What if you're you're not in the best financial position to do that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like what if you barely making ends meet? That could kind of be seen as a luxury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's a very slippery slope. It's a double-edged sword. It is a paradox. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe you need to do it for the safety of your nation, but man, I gotta eat. You know what I
I
mean?
feel you. I
Mhm.
Like,
feel you. But you also, you know what I'm saying? That's so. Then do you get it, or do you just suffer a little longer till you can get the one you want? Because
good
here's the
point.
thing. Um, I as a person who makes mature decisions, because not only I know the decisions affects doesn't just affect me, it affects my mom,
Mhm.
my wife, my kids, my ecosystem. I rather say, you know what? Let me go ahead and make sure I have the money to get what I want than settling. Because again, if you're doing that, then you're settling for quantity
Yeah,
over quantity.
quality.
Yeah, yeah, and remembering where I come from, like it takes a journey to get there. I would
Yeah,
say off of that, um, make sure you're pursuing paths to get to that point. Like because it comes down to mindset. You know what I mean? Because I
yeah,
get what you're saying, right? And
Mhm.
fortunately, I've been able to be in a place where I think more with a thriving mindset, right? But I
right.
wasn't always there. I've been in that survival struggle mindset. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's that when I was back in my struggle mindset, I'm like, yeah, whatever you said, homie, I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? So
No, I
I
get
would
that.
just say, as we continue growing this show, that we will share more stuff to help you get that growth mindset, man. That
Yeah.
abundant mindset, because it's definitely easier to say that once we're no longer struggling like we used to. But I know how it was,
Mhm.
and I never
Bruh.
forget how it was when we were struggling. I'm behind the cheap stuff, man.
Look. Let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna break it all the way down to before it to be broken. When you in a bind, you use whatever things you can do to get
Yep.
you to get you to where you need to be. I remember there was a point in time where I was doing payday loans when I was younger, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because I needed bills to be paid, and then I knew that payday loans was gonna cost a lot more. But
Yeah.
there came a point in time where I said that can I go without something so I
Yeah.
can get out
Yeah.
of this
There
situation?
you go. Yeah.
And
No, you're
or
right.
do I continue this pattern for over and over? Because I mean, life is gonna hit you and gonna say, "Are you done yet? Are you done playing this game?
Mm,
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Are you done
yeah,
doing
yeah.
payday advances? Are you done going on?" I mean, you have to take a look at yourself
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
mirror and internally and say, "Do you want more, or do you want to be in the same cycle of shit?" Let me just
Good
make
So
it
point.
point blank.
I
Good
know
If
I
point.
you
know
want to,
y'all listen to I know y'all listen to rap. Have you ever listened to Christian rap by any
yeah,
chance? Oh, you do?
Lecrae.
Okay.
I listen to
So Lecrae.
Lecrae.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm gonna mention is Lecrae. So on some of my like workout mixes and stuff, I enjoy Christian rap. And so one of the songs by Lecrae is a song called "Broke," and he talks about how being broke made me rich,
Yeah,
and talking about how those
being broke
struggles
made
in
me
life.
rich.
Then being broke made me rich.
Yeah,
Gotta
Hey.
keep the stove hot because it cook right. Anyways, so
exactly.
um, what I'm trying to say is like I kind of put my head back because I was thinking about that because I've been there before when I was younger and I was like, man, do I want to get some macaroni and cheese for the night or do I want to go and try to get my oil changed? A lot of time it was the mac and cheese because A girl didn't have money for no oil change.
Right.
It was rough. All right. But
Right.
because of those struggles, you can either do two things in life. You can use those struggles to make you better as you get older and make wiser
Mm.
decisions and wiser
Mhm.
discipline, or you can stay in that poverty mindset, because poverty is a mindset. It is not an environment. It is a mindset. You can get out of that.
Yep.
It is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So listen to me. That is news that you can use. Poverty is a mindset. It is not an environment.
It is definitely.
You can get out of it, and you don't have to keep making those decisions. And instead, you can begin to build up other people's lives around you, because you have just changed, how you look at your situation, and make better financial decisions. Become to be more disciplined in what you're doing.
Say what you said about the struggle. What can that struggle do for you? Say that again.
Struggle is going to do two things for you. One, it's either going to build you up to be a better person, or it's going to keep you right where you are, and you're going to be a victim for the rest of your life based off of that struggle. But you don't have to stay there or be there. Because when I was growing up, my dad was working a lot. My mom was a drug addict. She wasn't in the house. We didn't grow up with money. We grew up poor. We were excited to get a big bag full of clothes, you know what I mean, from like some neighbor. And I was like, yo, my first Tommy Hilfiger shirt was from a neighbor, and it was probably 10 years old, but I was so excited for it. And those are things that, like, we hardly ever got new shoes. We didn't get new backpacks for school. I did not look forward to going to school. I hated it. But it don't matter. Your girl graduated valedictorian from high school. It don't even matter.
Hey.
But I'm telling you, you can turn that struggle into something different.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I was no longer living with my parents. I was living with somebody who I thought loved me. He ended up being an alcoholic. I still ended up taking my butt onto school every single day. I used school as a way to overachieve, to combat the physical abuse I was taking from on at home. So I still graduated valedictorian, and with bruises covering up my underneath my robe. Still remember, he didn't black my eye that day. It wasn't until the day I joined the military is the last time he hit me. But anyways, you can take those struggles and you can choose to be better. You don't have to allow that stuff to hold you down and to weigh you down. You can come out of it. But I am going to tell you that I'm going to take that right back to my faith, was because that seed was planted in me, and I kept going to church and kept believing for something different, and I kept praying against my situation. Obviously, I've outgrown that situation now. That ain't going to happen to me ever again, because I know my worth, like you said. But at that time, I didn't. And I don't even know how I got on this subject.
It's
anyway,
all
don't let your struggle define you. Don't do it. You are better than this. You are worth more.
I like that. So I mean, my takeaway from that, right? Because we can't keep everybody all night. Is if you can't choose where you come from, right? You can't choose that. But like you said, we get some funny comments on IG, man. Creative Native says, shoot, I'm still cheap. I do the Fruity Pebbles Dino Stones. And then he also
God.
under
our roof, we're rich and family, not money. Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's
you're
what
not in
about.
a poverty mindset. It is all about what you think is rich is.
Yeah.
It ain't money, but family.
Go ahead.
But
I'm
what
rich
I
in
do
friends and
encourage,
friendships. Go ahead, Corey.
I do encourage people to have a level of rising, because what we don't want to do is just say, okay, yeah, you're rich. I mean, rich in family. You guys you making ends meet. That's great, and I'm great for you. But also have an elevated mindset, because your kids you always want your kids to do better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what I'm saying, and show them that they can, by showing them that you did better than what your parents were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I always stress that, because of the fact that I don't, you know what I'm saying? When my son, he always say, Dad, I can't wait to be just like you. I'm like, son, I want you to be better than me.
Be better than me. Heck yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? I am not the quota.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I am literally the bar. You need to raise the bar, because
we are not the ceiling. We are the floor. Let us be the floor for what we want our children
I like it.
to look up to.
Because
I like it. Be better.
Man, that's good bars, man. Go ahead.
And I'm always striving to get higher, because of the fact that I want more than what I was told I couldn't have,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I want more because of the fact that I know that I know what I can do with the more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that there's people, there's communities that need what I have, right? And it's
Oh,
not just inside a regional space of California. Like I know there's people that I can be able to talk to, bring light to a dark situation in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in
yeah,
South America, in North America. You know what I'm saying? These are things that I believe that God had put me on the planet to do. Now that I also know the gifts that He put inside of me, I'm responsible for me and what I'm responsible for what the gifts and what they're supposed to do.
Mm,
Right? You
that's
know what I'm
right.
saying? And if I don't do that, then I have some big questions to answer when I die
yeah,
after
yeah.
I leave this place. It's like what did I what when I look at my God and be like, yo, hey, you like, yeah, did you see them pearly gates? You gonna enter in, but we gotta have this talk.
Yep,
Cause it's gonna
yep.
say, what did you do with the gifts that I gave you?
Mhm.
Because Price is
What did
Right
you do
isn't
with the
I
gifts we
didn't
gave
win that. I mean, that was the Price is Right. That was not that wasn't the gift. That was just obedience. That was something that God blessed me. That's a
Mhm.
blessing. A gift is when I can go ahead and teach a person, and then that person go ahead take the tools that I was divinely given and I impart it into them, and then they go and change a nation.
Mhm.
Ooh, ooh.
Pac said that best. Pac said one thing. He was like, I may not change the nation, but I bet you I sparked the mind of the ones that will.
That will. Yep.
Yeah.
And now we
Yep.
have a Kendrick Lamar.
Mm.
Because if you listen
Mm.
to the Pimp the Butterfly at the end of it, he's having a conversation with Tupac.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
So that and so that was a I mean, a lot of people may think I'm crazy or not, but Tupac was a prophet. He spoke everything that he said that was going to happen into existence, whether he wanted to or not, whether he knew how powerful he was. Unfortunately, he didn't have the right guidance.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
money, like you said, money only amplifies who you really are.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And if he would have, before he got to being who he really was with the money and was able to make a change in his life outside of what these people wanted him to be, because I got one of his last interviews where he was like, I want to change my life and the image that I have of me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, money can't help you change your image to what people who've already assumed who you are.
Nah, nah.
You feel me?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
What
got a
it can,
comment here from Creative Native too. He said,
yeah,
I'm permanently disabled and on a fixed income. I still sacrifice many things I want for the needs of my children. And he said, even being disabled, I'm still out here trying to grind and become king of the pirates. That's a gamer thing.
yeah.
Hey, that's what's up,
Hey,
man. I like
tell
that.
tell
Go ahead.
creative native to Creative Native to create a Twitch. He a
He has a
gamer.
Twitch. He has a Twitch. That's his. That I believe that's your handle, right? Correct me if I'm
Mhm.
wrong, but Creative Native on Twitch. He
Monetize
does
your
his thing on
Twitch,
there.
bro.
He does his
Monetize it.
thing. Yeah, y'all
Yeah,
go follow him out there. Creative
yeah.
Native.
Monetize it and put it under a LLC and put it in your kid's name. That way it won't mess with your disability.
Mhm.
Hey, if you
Free
so
game.
choose, so just in case the feds is watching, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
He said yes, sir. You know what?
So,
I think Creative Native, what you just said, gave us the remark we can use to close, right? You can either be a victim or a victor. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I have been thinking about this whole time, Bobby, when you
Yeah.
shared your experience. And thank you for that. And thank you
Mhm.
for
thank
trusting the technically speaking community to share that, right? Because that ain't easy.
Mhm.
So thank you.
yeah.
You can either be a victim or a victor. I would say that we encourage you to be a victor. Use that struggle to help you
Absolutely.
build and become better, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
Well, I think that's it. Episode 20, baby. We're back.
A
Hey,
dub in the club.
I
Mhm.
do want to throw out there. We do have a technically speaking Instagram now, technically
Yes, yes.
underscore speaking underscore news on IG. Same on Facebook.
Mhm.
We got the Facebook page, so make sure you go follow the pages, man.
Yeah, look for the Phoenix, baby. Look
Look for
for
that
the
Phoenix, baby. Look
Phoenix.
for that Phoenix. Hey, the merch coming soon. Bobby we working on it. We working on it. Other than that, Corey, tell them how to get in touch with you if they need to come direct for some core ENT services.
It's your main man with the game plan. Your boy Corey Giovanni letting you know that I can be tapped in at Corey Giovanni on all platforms. And right now, I'm doing a special. You need music videos for either marketing or for artistry, $300. I'll make sure within 72 hours you will have your video back to you. So hey, flood my phone. Let's make it happen. Talk to your
Yeah, I've
boy.
seen his most recent video he did for an artist. It's dope. I like it too. So if you need a video, holla at him. And Miss Bobby with an I, because
Bobby with an I, because a Y's for a guy. You can get a hold of me on Facebook at Bobby Lopez. You'll see me. I'm at the top, the super cute one with the brown hair. Or you can hit me up on IG, Bobby.Lopez.5. Same exact profile picture as my Facebook, so you know that you're not getting skimmed or scammed.
And only hit her up for podcast related questions. That's it. Don't be on no phony ish, okay? And then
don't be sliding in the DMs trying to
get a block your ass.
Hey, my boy V gonna find you. Hey, we carry out here in Texas, so just know that, okay?
Open.
And then you can get in touch with me at @_tech_Von_go at Instagram and everything except for TikTok, because I don't do TikTok. But other than that, thank you for the love, everybody on IG, Facebook, and
thanks for tuning in. Much love.
If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, yo, and click that notification bell.
Yes.
Other than that, y'all have a good night.
Peace.
Bye.
Holla.